All right, everyone, welcome. We're so excited to see you and have you here with us today. This is National Financial Literacy Month, April, and so we're excited to start not only a new initiative in our county, but really just to look and focus on things of financial literacy this month of April. So thank you for being here with us today, and I want to go ahead and get started with our presentation. So my name is Carolina Cifuentes, and I am the Executive Director of College and Career Readiness here for Riverside County Office of Education. And I'll let my partner in this work introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Pedro Caro here, and I'm coordinator of CCR, working with Catalina, and just happy to have you all here with us this afternoon. Lots of good information, and I'm happy to support the work of our school counselors in this role too. Thank you.
So just a few virtual meeting tips. We are going to record this session so we can send it out and have it at a later time. If you have any questions, please use the chat feature and we will stay on as long as we need to. Even though the session ends at 3, we will stay on as long as we need to help you answer any follow-up questions. I know our presenters willing to stay as well. So I don't want you to think the meeting's over and we'll end. We're gonna stay on so you feel excited and positive and ready to take on some of these new conversations. I do want to go ahead and also just highlight one, I'm just so excited that you're here today. I know there's so much going on in your school districts, on your school sites. And I think a lot of leaders might feel like a new initiative or something else. And this really isn't. This is all work you've been doing. And what the county office is trying to do, and our county superintendent, Dr. Gomez, is really build in more stronger systems within our county to help talk about financial literacy. And so some of the things you're going to hear more about, not just this month. So I don't want you to think it's just April Financial Literacy Month and it's going away. No, you're going to see more of these different opportunities, not only for you as educators, but also for our students, for our families. We're going to be doing some webinars in Spanish and in English. So we'll put that in the chat. A huge thank you to Coachella Valley Unified, who's teaching us how to be able to translate webinars and do both at the same time. But really, we're going to focus around these key areas in the future. So looking for opportunities to teach students about entrepreneurship, teaching families about how to pay for college and not just senior year. So you're going to see webinars or trainings or information on how to teach elementary school families about paying for college and financial literacy. We're going to, different things from budgeting to savings. And so this whole financial literacy initiative is going to not only showcase what your teachers, educators, counselors are doing now, but look at how we can bring additional support. So we're just excited, like I said, with everything going on that you're here today to learn a little bit more and also to really partner with our presenters today. So these next 2 weeks, we're bringing all of the partners that have come to us and said, Catalina, Dr. Gatto, we want to partner, we want to help. We know the teachers and the counselors and administrators have a lot on their plate. We can come in and help and we can provide some of these lessons and some of these presentations. And so I'm excited to introduce our session today, Sally May, Financial Literacy Educational Resources, and one amazing partner in our area who's always there when it comes to FAFSA or I need swag giveaway for students, whatever you can imagine. Ventrice is always there for us as a Sally May partner. And so she's here to share with you what Sally May has to offer. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean another thing you have to do. Something as simple as setting up the Zoom, sending the invite, and Ventrice will come in and present to your parents and your families and do sessions. So with that, like I said, thank you for being here. We will stay on as long as you need us to, and I will turn it over to Ventrice.
Thank you so much. And like Catalina said, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here. This is very informal, so please ask questions and I'm happy to answer those. If I don't know the answer, I promise to get the answer for you. I'm going to turn off my camera so it is not a distraction. So I get distracted looking at myself even. So bear with me here. So I'm going to share some Sally May financial literacy resources with you. These are all free. There's plenty of free resources out there. These are just some. So if you need another resource or you have questions about something, my contact information is going to be at the end, and I'll also put it in the chat just in case. I wanted to just highlight, Sallie Mae launched some programs with the Thurgood Marshall Foundation, and we're awarding about $3 million over the next 3 years to help students achieve their dream of a post-secondary education. We just closed out 2 of the scholarship programs for high school seniors, and then one was for students who were just a few credits of completing their education. Those announcements have not been made yet. They should be made, or those awards should be made sometime in May. But we do have an upcoming scholarship program for graduate students, which might be of interest to some of you on the phone. And Sallie Mae and Thurgood Marshall will be giving away $10,000 scholarships for graduate students. I know when I was a graduate student, there was not much funding out there. Oops, sorry about that. Sallie Mae also entered into a partnership with EverFi to provide free financial literacy modules and information for the whole state of California. We were initially going to roll it out just to Riverside, because that's where I live, and Los Angeles County, but we decided to roll it out throughout the whole state. If you're interested, you would just go to the EverFi Sallie Mae Knowledge for College site, and so you can sign up there. It's free. Like I said, Sallie Mae has already paid for it. And if you have questions on that, you just let me know. These are some other resources. On the left-hand side, these are some presentations that you can offer your students. We have recorded presentations, as well as I'm happy to conduct any of these for you. And these are just a few. College planning, applying for scholarships, budgeting, and then we also have a robust blog site that we manage as well. On the right-hand side, there's some other resources, college planning calculator, there's some budgeting worksheets, and like I said, all this is free to you. We have a scholarship search tool, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and then information on comparing financial aid offers. This is a lot on this slide, so I apologize, but I wanted to let you know that Sallie Mae also hosts national webinars. So this is these are the national webinars that we have coming up. I'm really excited about this one, the college admissions tips. That will include some VPs of admissions, so admissions counselors, that will be giving some tips on, just how things are working on campus right now. So I'll send this presentation to Catalina afterwards, just in case someone wants a paper copy. And then also these webinars are also listed, see the email or the web address below, the Finlit tools. They're also listed there. And then when a when a presentation is over, the recording is put out there so you can listen to it at a later time. On the Sallie Mae webpage, we have a college planning sections that you and your families can utilize. And there's just various content out there about FAFSA, creating a budget, estimating student loan payments if your student takes out loans, and then applying for free money scholarships as well. This is some more information that's on this site. Sallie Mae has a designated paying for college resource outside of that college planning page, and I'll show you that in a second. Also, we give away every month a $1,000 scholarship. So all the student has to do is register, and then they don't have to do anything else. It's just a registration, and then they'll be put into the pool for that $1,000 scholarship, and they only have to register once. We also have a college planning calculator. I'll go over our scholarship search tool, and then additional resources that are mobile friendly, like the college planning savings calculator, the college cost calculator, and some other tools. So I apologize that this is so blurry. This is the best screenshot I could get. This is our paying for college resource. And there's a lot of information out there. If you can look on the left, it shows those national webinars. So those are also listed there, as well as that financial literacy tools website I showed you before. but you can always come out here and find which webinars are available for you, your students, and families. A little bit more about the Paying for College resource. There's a library of videos out here. I think the longest one is about 5 minutes. So introducing resources to help pay for college, how to pay, filling out the FAFSA and why it's important, what you need to know about student loans, how to find free money for college. So these are videos that you can share with your students and families. This is some other information. It's small, so I've made some screenshots of what I thought was the most important. So I'll go to the next page. There's a document that's downloadable, Understanding Your Financial Aid Offer. I know how that can be very cumbersome and daunting for some families because every college you go to, the financial aid offer looks a little different. So understanding our lingo is one of the things that we've heard from families is, what does all this mean? But that's a downloadable digital PDF. There's also a comparison tool. And this one, when you go onto the Paying for College resource, it's fillable. So a student could actually type in the information and then compare 4 different financial aid offer letters. I like this piece. I use it quite a bit when I'm talking about grants and scholarships and free money. I like students to know all of their options when thinking about going to college. That way they can make an informed decision. But scholarships and grants are free money that do not have to be paid back. So I talk about them quite a bit. Here's another document, Tips for Scholarship Award Success. Be surprised how many students don't apply for scholarship. You're probably not surprised, but how many students don't even attempt to apply for scholarships. When I was working on my master's degree, I did my research paper on undocumented students in higher education because it really intrigued me. And I met a young lady who paid for all 4 years at a private institution, so Whittier College, with just scholarships. She said she made it her full-time job just to look for scholarships, and she did it as if it were a job, and she did not have to take out 1 student loan. So I figured if she could do it with the odds stacked against her, that anyone could accomplish that. There's another document on understanding the FAFSA. This will be refreshed as FAFSA changes come about in 2023, but it's just a checklist, what students need to grab while they're filling out the FAFSA with their parents. This is one of my favorite pieces. I use it often. It's the college checklist for juniors and seniors, just to keep them on track. They know what they need to do and when, especially for those junior students. And juniors should start looking for scholarships right now. This is the back of that document. Applying to college is a busy time. So there's just some tips on saving money. Sallie Mae refreshes this piece every single year, filing the FAFSA. So if you wanted this document in digital or even paper copies, I'm happy to send it to you. And that way when October 1st comes around, which we're already almost at the end of April, you're prepared. But I'm happy to share this piece with you as well. I use this quite often when I talk about FAFSA, completing it. Monthly budgeting worksheet. I did a budgeting presentation last night for a group of high school students, and it's unfortunate that a lot of high school students don't understand just the concept of money. My kids used to think if you had a debit card, you had money, but this is a nice little sheet just to show them where their money's going and to be mindful of where you spend your money. Sallie Mae has a free scholarship search tool, so it aggregates scholarships into one place. The student completes a profile, and there's about maybe 10, 12 questions. ask them what their major is, where they live, just in case there's some state-specific scholarships they could be eligible for. And then it will match the student with a variety of scholarships. And as they, update their information, because students do change their major, or, they move to another state, they can go in there and update, and then it will match them with new scholarships. But it's constantly sending students updated matches, which is nice. Deadline dates are there, as well as once you click on the hyperlink, it'll give them the criteria. And I know there are a lot of scholarship search tools out there, but this is just one for students to use.
Ventrice, before you go to the next slide, can you share, I know we have a few of our administrators that work in districts that have students that are undocumented students, about the scholarship list and what you shared with me, that what's pretty cool about what's on that list?
Absolutely. There's a good portion, so about 22% of the scholarships within the Sallie Mae Scholarship Search Tool do not require citizenship. And I think a lot of students that are not citizens, they think they're just kind of knocked out of the bucket. They have to sit on the sideline, but that is not true. There's a lot of scholarships that are for undocumented or students that are not citizens. So they should definitely, and all of these, you should find some without a citizenship requirement. So they should definitely be looking in these tools. And since the web-based tools, since they aggregate scholarships, it's a lot easier to find than, trying to go to the library or just looking online and searching. This is where I would start with your students. And I know some of the schools already use some tools, but these are just some other tools to have in your toolbox.
Thank you.
Of course. And when I send this presentation to you, Catalina, I'll add all of the different amounts and scholarships that are in here for minority students, or when my daughter went to school, she got a scholarship for being a vegetarian. They asked her why she was a vegetarian, why she wanted to save the planet, and they sent her a check for $3,000. So there's just all kind of money out here to be had. It's just the student has to take some action. Sallie Mae also has a blog with there's just hundreds. I've probably written 20 articles for this blog, but there's just a number of articles out here. One is Why, When, and How, the FAFSA survival guide, because you do have to survive it. There's so many questions. There's another one on 7 things high school seniors can do to prepare for college. It's just information that you can share with your students. I think a lot of times we speak in our speak. I've been in financial aid for a long time, so I know the lingo and I expect everyone else to, and that's just not the case. It's another one on financial literacy, why families need more tools and support. I was asked the other day by some parents, I did a parent presentation, is just the terminology that schools use is sometimes very confusing for them. So to, just create an article or some type of document that explains that terminology. I can't believe it was that fast, Catalina.
No, not at all. I think actually would definitely want to give time for a Q&A, and what you did, Ventrice, is you covered so much of what is available for our educators here today. I don't know if you want to go back, because there's so much going on in their world. If you want to maybe go back, and if there's one particular one where to start with, and then we'll definitely want to hear some lead-ins on what you provide. So tomorrow you're doing a parent night, and I think they'd love to hear a little bit more of what that entails. So if they want to bring something like that back to their campus, what's been awesome when we partner with you is, like I said, we just set it up, we set the Zoom, and you or someone from the team takes that on. So if you want to share, if there's any one of all the features, because there's so many different opportunities, if there's any one that you would say, where should they start?
I would I always start with free money first. I mean, there's so much money out there that, sometimes students, all you have to do is fill out a scholarship applications. Sometimes you have to write an essay. You can write one essay and tailor it to the various scholarships. But this is where I always start, because the funds are out there. There's no reason for someone to get in thousands of dollars of student loan debt when there's free money out there. The Sallie Mae Paying for College resource, like I said, is just one resource. Sorry, Blair Witch Project probably make you dizzy, but it's just one resource that aggregates information on paying for college. Just some simple things I need to know. First, fill out the FAFSA. If I have to take out a student loan, what is a student loan and how does interest accrue on a student loan? As well as just financial aid offers. If I apply to 10 schools, I'm gonna get 10 different forms that look totally different. So I think that's just important to understand those and to know how to analyze each one. What am I getting? What's on that offer letter? I think that's truly important. And then our session tomorrow night, we'll really talk about college costs. What does college really cost? If you think about, if you've got a small child, college costs increase about 3 to 5% every year. So how much do I have to save or whatever, so I don't have to come out of pocket, or I don't have to take out a student loan? And then the other thing we talk about, I show you an offer letter, so you know what that kind of looks like. We talk a little bit about, if I get this much in federal student loans and I get this much in scholarships and grants, and I have a balance left over, how do I cover that balance? What are my options for paying for that balance? So that's what we'll go over tomorrow night with parents. I just don't want people to, go into college, because sometimes we don't go because we think it's too much. It's too much, information out there. But I want people to just understand that it is doable. I went to community college first, and then I transferred to a 4-year school. And that's the path I took. Everybody doesn't take the same path. Someone might choose a trade school, and that's okay, as long as you're doing something.
Perfect. Dr. Gatto, do you have a question?
Yeah, and I had a couple, and you actually got one from me. That was, what would be your top 2, or like your must hit, your must go to resource, but you covered that nicely. My other question was, with your experience in this area, what would you say is like your top 2 barriers for why students' families don't take more advantage of these resources? You kind of started to allude to it a little bit when you talked about they don't think it's for them, but do you have any other tips or any other things you've seen in the field why kids are hesitant to apply for these scholarships that our folks can benefit from?
I just think, thank you for that question. I just think as a community, and this is, no bad on anybody, that we have to start talking about these things much, much earlier. And that way it's kind of, even if you remember one thing, it's kind of embedded already in your mind. And then once you get to high school, it's not fresh. It's not new. I've already heard it. But a lot of families will wait until that very last minute to do, and then it's just overwhelming. So nothing happens, right? So I think to me, the FAFSA form that's like, everyone should complete one, whether you choose to go to school or not. And then you should look for free money. Those 2 things to me are very, very important.
And I think, no, definitely. Thank you. And I think that's part of, you have all these different resources, and part of why we're doing this is we're not, Dr. Gomez, our county superintendent, want us to reinvent the wheel. When you're starting to look at what's out there, this is a partnership and a possibility to bring what's already there in Sallie Mae, what they have, the comparison calculators, all of that to your students and your families. And I would say, Ventris, tomorrow, hopefully we put in the chat, if you want to register for tomorrow to see what does this look like for parents and how do we navigate parents through this information, please sign up, register tomorrow. You can see Ventris in action speaking to parents. And once again, a huge thank you to Lindsay from Coachella Valley Unified, who's teaching us how to offer both opportunities in English and in Spanish for our parents in our county. But really, we really want to, we don't want you to feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. There's so much out there. There's so much partnership. available. So we want to encourage, if you have not put in the chat, if you have any questions, or we're a smaller group today. If there's any, you want to mute yourself, please feel free to do so. We'll go ahead and pause if you have a question in the chat or you'd like to unmute yourself.
And can I see a question there? I think maybe
Please.
Jamina have asked it. Can someone ask that question? Do you want me to take it, Jamina?
Please go for it.
Yeah. So the question is, what age should we introduce these topics to students? And what are some creative ways to show them ways that will grab their interests?
I would say, and I've talked to, elementary school students, and I've talked to middle school students. I think those students that are in 5th or 6th grade, they can kind of start to grasp some of these concepts. They're not going to remember what a FAFSA is, and they're not going to remember some of these things, but just the basic going to college piece and the, cost money. So we put it in simple forms for them. It costs money. Here's what and you can have students sign up on a scholarship search tool. They're in 5th or 6th grade. Nothing's going to happen, but at least they can go in and see what type of information they have to add and see what types of scholarships are available. I would do that exercise if you have the time, when you have the time, because I know all of you have just all that free time on your hands. But that's where I would start. It's just kind of introducing some of the terminology. I think we ask kids, what do you want to be when? I don't even know what I wanted to be when I don't even know what I want to be today. What do you want to be when you grow up? We expect them to make those decisions today. That's not always the case, but just those simple money type concepts. This is college. This is how much it costs. And this is, if you have a high school diploma, this is how much money you can make. If you have a college degree, you could probably make even more. So just those basics.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have, administrators, district leaders, and teachers on. So this is something, this whole initiative, financial literacy in our county it's really going to be grassroots. We don't want to limit it to an entire district has to sign up to have a Sallie Mae session. It could be, a one school site. If you're at a school site and you want to bring a session to your parents. Ventrice, we're going to obviously put your contact information up, but can you share with us, if you're on right now, we're going to put your contact information in the chat. What are the next steps? What would be some different types of sessions you could offer them if they were to email you for their parents and students or even their staff members?
Absolutely. And so these are just a few of the ones that we offer. And, it's going to be different depending on who the audience is or how college or what age, but I do a lot of college planning workshops. Applying for scholarships is one of my favorite. Understanding credit, that might be a little older student. I think they should start learning about that. Budgeting is important. I just finished writing a banking, Junior Achievement asked me to write a banking 101 presentation. So that's just introduction to money and what's a check? How do I write a check? How do I open a savings account? So those types of things. So that could be for, junior high or even high school. But any time you want a presentation, just email me. If it's more than one district, it makes it a little bit easier, but I'm happy. Chino High School, I don't know how many presentations I've done for them, and they normally have 200 people in a room. So I don't care if we have 1 or 200, it's somebody who didn't have the information. So I'm happy to present. So don't worry about the number. We'll figure that out. Whatever you'd like that topic to be, you just let me know. If I don't have it, take me a little time to write it, but I think we can get there.
Well, and you just said something I want to say. So if you're looking at these free resources right now and you're like, I want a little bit of budgeting, a little bit of scholarship, and a little bit of student loan, she will build it for you. So this is like her menu of options, and Ventrice has done that for us. She will, so if you want to kind of do applying for scholarship search, and the college cost calculator for parents and students, she can build it for you. So I don't want you to think these are each standalone PowerPoints. She's done that for us plenty of times. So just thank you for that.
Right. Yes.
Okay. We did get a question in the chat about If you can kind of talk a little bit about the requirements to apply for these scholarships that Sallie Mae host on their website. And I know you mentioned earlier that about 20% of them are available for students regardless of the residency status. Can you just talk a little bit about some of those requirements or things we should look out for?
Sure, absolutely. So I wish I had a screenshot. So this tool, when you first log in, it'll ask the student where they live, their citizenship status. It does ask their race because there's scholarships in the tool for different minority groups. It'll ask their age or what year they are in high school, and a few other questions, what they think their major is going to be, because there's some very specific scholarships in here for, students who choose a major. But literally you click on the link and it'll tell you what the requirements are, the deadline, if it's a rolling award. So sometimes the deadline, there is no deadline, because what they call rolling is that the scholarship, until they find the right recipient, then the application will be open. And then there's some that do have deadlines. You can see that second one from Amazon, that one's monthly. So every month, it just varies on the amount. They offer a scholarship, and it could be $5,000, it could be $100. And the one thing I always tell students is just don't be discouraged by the amount. Normally these $10,000 scholarships, they're giving away one, and there's a pool of people, but the $1,000 ones, $100 ones, $500, those all add up. If you got 10 of those, if you got 10 $100 scholarships, I mean, that's a lot of money. So just don't be discouraged by the amount of the scholarship. In fact, if it were me, I'd apply for, all the $1,000 ones, because they probably have more of those.
Okay, thank you. I think that's, even being able to take that link and push it out. One thing I didn't mention, and I think if it's possible you can share, we have a few weeks left of the school year, and I think some of our leaders are on because they're planning for next year, especially around October. We do the big college kickoff where we do these types of financial literacy lessons, college affordability during the school day. The Sallie Mae, are they willing to present to students as well, not just educators?
Yes. So there are a number of high schools where I present regularly on scholarships or any other of the tools and resources that we have. So absolutely, I love presenting to students. That's our audience. So yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Perfect. And I put Ventrice's contact information in the chat, and I think that's what's powerful about this is we're spinning so many plates, our districts, our leaders, everyone on. Like I said, I'm just so excited that they're even here now with us, with everything else that they're working on. It's as simple as setting a date, inviting your students, and then you take over from here. That's what I think. You don't have to create the PowerPoint, you don't have to create the links or anything. Ventrice will take care of it to provide this service when you have so much going on. And especially when you're thinking of lessons, or you have maybe a group of 5 teachers want to get involved and they want to provide it. She can take that on. In this virtual world, it makes it a little easier for us to do. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm trying to see, I don't see any questions coming through the chat. I'll see if there's anyone who wants to unmute themselves and ask a question. And we will be sending this PowerPoint after this afternoon. So you'll get it at your email address where you registered. You'll get a copy of the PowerPoint and contact information as well to follow up. Okay. I don't see any other questions coming through. No one unmuting themselves. I don't know, Dr. Gatto, could you think, and Dr. Gatto's he's been working with our elementary and our middle school conversations around financial literacy and getting going on that. Do you have any final thoughts or questions that have come up? Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
So I saw a question that pop up from the middle school, a great counselor that I know from Desert Sands. Would you present to middle school students? I guess that's a request for you, Ventrice, and then just thank you for the great information.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I'd probably have to tailor the presentation a little bit, and I could throw in some of that banking information just so they have an introduction to just what money is. But absolutely, I think that's where those conversations should start.
Absolutely. And my kind of just piggyback on that would be for middle school folks out there. Just consider that something like this could be a great part of your college career week. Has a part there for sure. It's something that all kids should have access to, regardless of grade level. How you do that can be tailored, but also don't forget, I think when she said earlier, when she talked about the terminology, just getting them started, planting those seeds with the right key terms, right? And for school counselors, oftentimes this falls under our lap because we're teaching these things with standards involved. So consider how you might do this in a classroom setting when we come back, whatever that might look like, so that all kids get access to this. And then you can definitely assess what they've learned, what they take away, what skills they can take, because those are the things that they'll take as middle schoolers, but then they'll use it as high schoolers and beyond as well. It's a life skill. So consider how you might do that with the classroom setting for the kids you're serving. Great ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dr. Carl. And also consider that a lot of middle school students have older siblings. So they carry that information. Hey, guess what I learned today? I've seen that quite a bit. So
yes, absolutely.
Definitely. And thank you, Ventrice, for your willingness to also work with our middle school leaders. There's been so much research that if you show students at middle school how to pay for college, how to plan for post-secondary, that it changes their academic outcomes. And so I'll try, before we jump off, I'll try to see if I can find some research articles on there. So even just early conversations and students say, oh, I can get money, or I do qualify, or, I'm a vegetarian, like you said about your daughter, and I could apply for that scholarship. I think it's the more we do earlier, the better. And in our county, as all the leaders know on this call, more than 70% of our students come from first generation. They're going to be first in their family. And so you are kind of taking this role on that maybe you're doing for your, either your own children or your nieces or your nephews or your neighbors, these little steps about how to pay for college and how to look for scholarships. But you got to remember, a majority of our students in this county don't have that. And so that's why we're trying to provide opportunities and resources, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you don't have to write curriculum, it's done for you. And we have partners like Ventrice that'll come to your school and help. So I don't know if we have any questions in the chat, Dr. Gatto?
No, I don't see any. Just looking at, they're going to keep in touch and get her set up for a great sounding college career week. So no, thank you so much.
Catalina, I'd like to make one last point, just based on what you said a few seconds ago, is that 70% of, I live in Riverside County as well, 70% of our population is low income. And I think there's I don't know if you want to call it a myth out there that borrowing is bad. So depending on the demographic we come from or the culture. And I think we need to dispel those myths or rumors, as I call them, that borrowing is not bad when it comes to going to school. There's plenty of free money out there, but sometimes our financial circumstances, we do have to borrow. And just borrowing responsibly. And that's what we can start to teach these students. Know what money is and do it in a responsible manner.
Okay, definitely. I think that's important for our families to understand. So I'll speak for myself, and some of you on the call can agree. I wouldn't have been able to finish college if I didn't take out student loans. My parents couldn't help me. I was first in my family. So I had to take out some student loans. And if I was disciplined, then I just would have stayed the same quality of life the first year of teaching. I would have been able to pay them back in 1 year. But what did you do? Bought a car, eventually bought a house. And so, the student loan payments turned extended. But I think sometimes we get students afraid of that. And that's why I think earlier conversations of understanding that is important. So definitely Ventrice. Okay, so with that, I don't see any additional questions in the chat. Do you, Dr. Gatto?
No, none. We're good.
Okay, so I'll go ahead, and Ventrice, I'll let you, close it out and give any final thoughts.
Great, thank you so much. Like Catalina said in the beginning of the call, that we're all here in this together, and I'm here for you. I'm not here to, Sallie Mae is a planning, paying, and saving for college organization. And we do provide student loans, but I'm not here to talk about student loans, because there's plenty of free money out there for our students. So I love my community. I've lived in Riverside for a long time. So whatever I can do to support you, I'm here. If I can answer any questions, or if you have any concerns, or if there's something I can't answer, I will go find the answer. So I know it's rough right now, because it's rough for me sitting in this chair all day. So I can imagine what it's like for you having to deal with students. So we thank you, just as a community. We thank you for all you do.
Thank you. And I went ahead and put in the chat the resources for the research on middle school, talking about financial literacy and paying for college in middle school and the impact. So those of you who are middle school families from our county that are on, and you're like, I don't know if I can get my teachers on board, or I don't know if I can get my administrator on board, share that research article with them. I just put it in the chat for you. And it really talks about, if you take opportunities like working with Ventris to provide this for parents, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised of how many more will be engaged. And I'm going to say, Moreno Valley Unified, huge shout out. They held a middle school conference convening this month. And I did a session with a school counselor from Paris Union High School District. And it was all around how to pay for college. And I thought, I wonder how many students we're going to get. I had over 100, and they had tons of questions. So they're hungry for this information. And if you have someone like Ventris willing to come in and do it, even better. Okay. So with that, well, I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any last, do one more call, shout out for any questions. And we just want to, like I said, with everything going on today, we just want to say thank you for being here. We know you have so much going on in your world, and just really happy that you're here. And if you're not ready to jump on something like this, that's okay. We're going to be here when you are ready to do that. Dr. Gatto, any final words?
No, just thank you so much. And if you have any great ideas out there, you want to get this going, and you have some great creative ideas to deliver this lesson content, by all means, get our emails, let us know, get our content. We would love to hear from you. Go to your schools, talk with you, pick your brain about how to get this done at a classroom setting, so that we can share it with the entire county and have it grow that much too. So let us know as well. Thank you all.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes, we did have a few teachers already email and said, I love to showcase what we're doing. So we're not trying to act like this is a brand new conversation. If you have a teacher, send it to us and we will do a showcase. Okay. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and close this out. And like I said, in the chat, we have EverFi coming to us next week. We're super excited. Ventris talked about that. Altura Credit Union. Basically, we're trying to find all the partners that are willing to come in like Ventris and work with you. So really excited to have you all here with us. Jamina just put a few more of those links again. And then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to, actually, we'll go ahead and stop there. Jamina's putting our contact information in the chat. So we're good there.
I can stop, stop my screen if you want.
Can you real quick? Okay, I'll just, so I can pull it up really quick. Thank you. So let's go ahead and close out. And just like I said, thank you again. We're here to help you, support you. Here's our contact information. And this is work you're already doing. We just really want to amplify it. And Dr. Gomez, our county superintendent, wants to build more of these practices within the school day and work with you side by side with partners like Ventris and Sally Mae. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.